So Maloney really wants a girl, we all know this, and he tries 3 times, strikes out the first and the second time, and he's giving out these bags. He's actually giving them out. He's gone to Rodeo Drive with the OnlyFans security guard that he hired to take him around at Keys, and they went and got bags, and they got a bag for a girl who rejected him and said, you know what, brown and white is not my color, I'm gonna give it to my mom. She went viral. Then the second girl got a lime green Kelly, and people were going nuts. Now all the girls wanted to go to the club. They wanted to come to Keys because they were like, we want a Birkin, we want a Kelly. So he's going viral, it's getting crazy. Instagram is going crazy. The club loves him. Malone brings his best friend, Versace God. Obviously that's not the guy's name. So they're always hanging out, they're always dropping money, they're hanging out with rappers, it's crazy. The girls are now tagging them like on Instagram, and they're tagging back, it's getting insane. It turns out that Malone stole $240 million from a guy in DC through Bitcoin. He pretended to be a Google supporter and basically like doing a social engineering thing, calling the guy in DC and saying, there's some issue going on with your account. And so the guy is like seen like trying to figure it out. And as he's like figuring it out, Malone and his friends are able to crack in and like get his password and everything. I think he had to do another extra code. And that additional code is what like gave them access. And immediately they saw that there was 4,100 Bitcoins. One Bitcoin is worth $30,000. So 4,100 is ridiculous money. Like they're screaming, they're shouting, they're on DistroKid and they're recording the whole thing. It's video recording, audio records, like, oh my God, man, like our whole lives are changed. Oh my God, this is so much money, this is so much money. And they're like losing their minds, they don't know what to do. Meanwhile, I know this guy is in DC, the one who's an actual billionaire, is probably spiraling at this point. And we don't hear much from him, but basically these guys are like going nuts. They go crazy, they buy luxury cars, they buy houses, rental properties in Miami. Also, of course, luxury bags, which they bought the girls. Like it's mess, but basically like it was the phishing scam. They took all the money, 4,100 Bitcoins. And whenever he would go somewhere, he would sign like XBT, because XBT on TikTok that was like looking for scammers. And so Malone would always leave like a trademark with like XBT there, and like XBT started like investigating it. He's the one who was like working with the FBI. It was so crazy. Like it just, now that things are kind of getting out there that they are going to be investigated, because this guy in DC was not playing. He's like, I just lost all my money. Like they just wiped out my wallet, in a very easy social engineering phishing scam. Like this is insane. Like how these guys were able to do this and think they're gonna pull it off. Okay, remember these guys are only like in their 20s. So they're blowing up their money. They're in Miami, they're in LA, they're going back and forth. They've got their properties, they've got their parties. Now, Malone has rented a huge mansion in Miami, and the neighbors are always like, well, there's always something happening. There was a party going on. We were like, we knew this kid is like a party goer and pretty crazy, so we were kind of used to it. But the next morning, when police did not give any inclination this was happening, that there was going to be any crackdown, Miami had surrounded the property that Malone was renting. And it was like fireworks. It was absolute insanity. So he's been indicted on multiple charges. His friend Versace got as well. A couple of the other guys that were part of this were not even spending their money. Also, when everything was coming out to light, they were like trying to figure out how to launder the money. And they also video and audio recorded that on DistroKid. I mean, these guys have created such a beautiful digital footprint for the FBI. Like, how did you not know? You know what I mean? Like what you guys are doing, like, why are you recording this? It's sad because these boys are gonna be facing a lot of time. Like this isn't gonna go away. There's nothing they can hide. Like this actually happened. They can't deny it. This all went down. So that's the story. Now, people want Malone to be free, like they don't want Malone to be in jail. Now there's all these conspiracies, like is Malone actually in jail? Because like we've seen him all over Instagram, like he's hanging out in Singapore right now, and Asian guys are actually pretending to be Malone. It's I mean, if you know the story, you know that he's actually in prison, And they made like free Malone t-shirts, like free Malone t-shirts, free Malone merchandise. So people really want Malone out. And it's like this whole movement. And then people who don't know about the story are like, wait, Malone, like Post Malone, free Post Malone. And girls are like, free Malone so we can get Birkins and Kellys. And yeah, this is the Malone story. It is the Malone Lam story. And it is an ongoing investigation. So let's see what happens.